So here's a question. Do you feel like there's more innovation and economic mobility today than ever before, but feel increasingly unable to attain it? Under the overly politicized and ever-changing world, has there ever been a more scrutinizing time to be alive, while simultaneously having the capability to live a free and independent life?
Scientific and technological advancements of the past several decades have brought us to the greatest point in human history. But we need to address the elephant in the room. There are those with money, power, and influence who have created a system to keep you distracted, indifferent, and dependent, while large corporations, career politicians, and mainstream media normalize the eroding of our American liberties.
The true road to independence can no longer be paved through political elections or pointless regulations, but rather through the deliberation of ideas, safe from censorship and polarization. Only through liberty of mind and empowering individuals to take responsibility of their future can we all truly lead happy and fulfilling lives.
If this resonates with you, then get ready. We'll tackle events head on, share what the implications are for you, and explore all necessary solutions to ensure you can maintain a life of freedom and independence. This is Matt and Calvin, and you're listening to Elephants in the Room. So for... Well, that actually is more authentic. So for anybody listening, you just actually heard our intro that played for the first time. So go ahead and let us know what you guys think. But welcome to Elephants in the Room, and my name's Matt.
And this is Calvin.
And, this is a show where the intro does a pretty good job of explaining what we're here to do, but this is the first episode that we're posting, and, we kind of want to, before we dive into everything, I think it'd be good for us to explain to people, why we think this is all necessary.
No, absolutely. With the current climate of things and where we're at in the world, and just the polarization around news and politics and COVID and just everything going on, nothing seems to be very clear these days.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that we can agree on that is clear is that, I'm just going to come out and say it, all the people that are in positions of extreme power today don't really give a shit about you or I.
Oh my. I have a rebuttal for that. It's just like...
right, it's like,
I can't
I know
think
we
of the
know
last
this.
time there was, really a politician that I felt like truly represented me and my values and who I am and, the society I grew up in.
Yeah, no kidding. Wouldn't that be something? But I do. It's politicians right now. It's central banks. It's large corporations that are attacking Reddit groups who are retail traders online. It's the monopolies that are big tech platforms. And if I'm sure a lot of you got a little bit triggered at me saying monopolies and referencing big tech platforms, but if you stick around long enough, we will. I'm pretty confident that we'll prove that that's the case.
No, absolutely. Now, Matt, I feel like we should tell them kind of just the origin story. How did we come up with elephants in the room? What's the idea behind that? What?
So, Elephants in the Room was, if I remember correctly, there's just over the last year so many stories coming out where, they're touching on a piece of it, but there's a large portion of the story that's either going unsaid, it's being, specifically avoided by every mainstream media outlet. There's topics and conversations today that, due to things like political correctness, people are afraid to share. They're afraid to talk about the science and the things that are actually real about it.
Don't say that. I'll cancel you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think science is pretty much banned nowadays. But
wait, no. I thought we were following the science, though. You know what? I don't know which way's up these days.
Who even knows anymore, right? It's pretty much whichever opinion you pick, the opposite side is going to say you're not following the science. So lucky for you guys, we actually understand science, so we're gonna break it down for you.
Thank goodness, and yes, and a woman.
Right. Yeah. So, the old term elephants in the room, we came up with the idea with the name for the podcast just simply because those are the things we want to address. We want to talk about the elephants in the room. We don't want to shy away from them. And more importantly, we want to explain what they mean for our listeners and what you guys can do to be prepared for changes that are coming up, utilize opportunities that are showing themselves, and really have an actual choice in your future and where you end up. Because right now, we're living by a system where we have the idea of choice, we get the feeling of choice, but do we really have it? I think is a better question.
Well, and, like when you look at a socialist country or you look at a communist country and you look at those forms of government and, those governments tell people who can and can't work.
Right.
And
who's essential and who's not.
Who's
what does that sound like?
Who's not. Oh, wait. Aren't we following a system like that right now?
Yeah, I was like, I think, I can probably only name 3 essential workers on both hands. So what does that tell you about who's allowed to make a living and who's not? But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's tough all around. And just these days, all I can, my biggest focus and our biggest focus on this show will be about how to maintain an independent lifestyle, how you can take control back for yourself, for your money, for your ideas, for your speech, and thrive in that environment in a time where it's kind of difficult to.
And it seems like all the systems in society are set up to ensure that you don't. But Calvin, I think it would be great. This is actually a good setup for a segue. If you want to go ahead and kind of describe for the listeners, what is an independent lifestyle? What does that look like? What are some of the metrics you can use to determine if you do have an independent lifestyle now or not?
No, absolutely. So when it comes to an independent lifestyle, guys, it all starts with, first your thoughts, your ability to speak, your
Amen.
Ability to
liberty
share
of mind,
ideas, and get and come to a conclusion through deliberation. And for those of you who don't understand what deliberation is, it is from having a conversation and sharing ideas and getting to the best truth within that conversation. And it's the same way that science has always worked, is bouncing off ideas between one another, going off of the data, going off of critical thinking,
right,
and then coming to a conclusion at the end.
And to quickly build off that, the original inception idea behind free press was that all ideas were going to be thrown on the table, and through criticism and through testing and experimentation, eventually the right answer will come to the surface. It's not a centralized power deciding what is the right answer and making sure everybody else abides by that. It's we all as a community come together and come to a consensus on what the right answer is. But if we're not able to actually have these conversations, it makes that pretty fucking difficult.
Oh, absolutely.
We might have to bleep that out. Sorry, guys.
Hey, cut it out. I'm going to have to cancel you or something.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I can't use that joke anymore. I think that's the second time. All right. But we've always, at least as far as Matt and I are concerned, we believe truth stands on its own. So it's going to stand the test of time. It's going to stand the polarization of whatever the climate brings or whatever the current climate is bringing to you. Truth is going to stand on its own. That's all there is to it.
Right.
And it's going to make it through all of that deliberation, and at the end of the day, it's going to come out more refined, and it's ultimately not going to change. Because you know why? Because it's truth.
Exactly. I think for me, what independence really means, and it's really kind of come to a head in the last year, there are ample institutions, corporations, international entities, you name it, who have a direct impact and a direct say in how you live your life. For me, I want to live the freest life possible with the most opportunity possible. When I look at my future, I don't want to know what is. I only want to look at the possibilities of what could be. And that's just how I want to live my life. So some of the institutions, what are some of the institutions we want to be independent from? I think, for starters, Calvin will be able to speak better to this than I, but I think it all starts with fundamental basics like your health. You want to be independent of these big pharmas and these medical institutions who are going to overcharge you and cripple you with medical debt. So I know that's something Calvin's been very passionate about throughout his life.
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, I've been an athlete all my life, and what you put into your body is what you get out of it at the same time. And I mean, hey, everyone's dealt a different hand in life as far as, just your genetics, what you're born with, all of that. But, outside of just the base package of what you're born with, you have a lot to do with influencing how your body works, how your machine works. Like, your body is a machine. And what's amazing about it is it fixes itself if you allow the right ingredients in there, and you take care of it, and it's sleep, rest, and work in physical activity and all of that. It's all a beautiful thing whenever you actually do it. Whenever you put it all together, right? And it's really comes down to taking care of yourself first. Now, after taking care of yourself, it expands.
And that's actually another beautiful transition by Calvin. The next phase in our framework for independence and living a life of liberty that Calvin's alluding to is, now that you've built the foundation that you can seek freedom and liberty, the next thing you have to do is attain it. You have to escape the systems that are oppressing you. And right now, while there's kind of a war going on between decentralized ultimate access of everything and centralized, very small group decision making. That's the root of the entire political polarization today. So, the next step is you need to be able to escape from these systems that are applying centralized power on you. But we've kind of been shown that, these are all written down in laws. We have freedom of speech. We have specific rights that are granted to us in the Constitution. But unless we build these into the systems that we use in our everyday lives, do we really? From what we've seen recently, yeah, we have those rights on paper, but is that really how they transpire in real life? And, you have to escape that system, and then, what comes after that?
Well, what comes after that is competing, because once you escape that system, you still have to have a way to compete in this world. And if you're not able to do business and live your life and continue to build your wealth and provide for your family and pursue life, liberty, and happiness, what the supposed American dream is supposed to be
able to compete with the system you just left.
And on top of that, that system, like, we need to be able to gain. We need to have our independence from it, because that system currently right now is manipulating almost every action. It allows them to censor practically anything that they want or conflicts with their point of view. And all I know is, as an American citizen, I'm fed up with it.
Right.
It's
how could you not?
It's
be?
Not okay. I've read the Constitution.
So how much did that mean? Yeah, that seems like a wasted homework assignment, doesn't it? But after, I think, and this is one that we're really excited to get to, is after you're able to compete with that system that you just left, you want to be able to control your future and control your absence on that system. It's once you've become free and once you're able to compete and you're living that life of free and independent liberty, people aren't going to like that. They're going to come after you. What our government has proven is that they will come after liberties. They will come after rights if it's for the safety of the people, or, if it's because this is what's best for you. These are all excuses we've seen. So we're going to show you guys the systems that are actually going to be able to maintain your independence over time, control your future, so you can channel that into freedom and independence for people that, generations to come.
Most definitely. Yeah. And in episodes to come, guys, you can expect us to be discussing current day events, what's going on in the world, and giving you guys a real life take of how we see things are going on. And we'll make sure that you guys know it's our opinion and not fact or truth that we know to be. But we're going to start with a truth or a news article and determine whether that is or is not truth.
Right, and go through it with you guys.
Correct. And then from there, we're going to be able to go through these systems and show you guys how you're going to be able to build your health, escape the system, compete after you've escaped that system, and then gain control of your life and your future. Right. So guys, just stay tuned. We are so excited to share with you guys what's coming up, what we have for you, what's in the works, and guys, we just appreciate you tuning in today.
Yeah, and we want to be able to leave. There's a pet peeve of Calvin and I's is when we'll listen to an 1.5 hour long webinar, a 3 hour long podcast, and get no specific call to actions after that. So the call to action for this episode is join our Telegram group in the description down below. From there, that's where we're going to be throwing the news stories that we see, because speaking of independence, we have both become independent of mainstream media. We have found the journalists that we know stand on truth as their sales pitch and whose reputations would be shattered if they were caught lying. And, we want to show you guys the news stories we're seeing, because this is what started shaping our viewpoint and shaping this show and, the subsequent movement. So go join that Telegram group. There's a side discussion that you can join as well. Calvin and I are in there all the time. We got a few other guys who...
Daily.
Yeah. we got a few other guys who
we run it.
Yeah, so needless to say. And we have a few other guys helping out. We're all going to be throwing on news stories that, we just think help paint a better picture of what's going on.
Amen.
Because the media or government officials, they can tell you they're doing this or tell you they're doing that. But when Calvin and I drag our happy little ass to the congress.gov website, we see that that's not what's on the bills that they're passing. So, it's saying one thing, doing another, and, I feel like that's something that needs to be addressed because it's an obvious elephant in the room.
Oh, most definitely. And the final disclaimer here of just the news and how we will go about covering it and everything. If we ever reach a point where we cover a subject inappropriately or inappropriate's the wrong word, untruthful, we will correct that. And because at the end of the day, guys, we want to stand on truth and truth alone. We want to share our thoughts, opinions, and ideas, and we want to come to the best conclusion for everyone through deliberation at the end of the day.
We're not here for our answers. We're here for the best answers.
Exactly.
So if you guys leave comments about how we're inappropriately covering things, I won't read them. If you leave comments about how we got something wrong, I will read those, and I will make that correction, and I will go ahead and quote you in the very next episode. So, Calvin, I think that's about it for me, what we're going to cover. I don't know if you have anything else.
Matt, I think we addressed the elephant in the room today.
I think we did. We'll be having a few episodes coming up soon, and hit the links in the description, and let's get going.
Heck yeah! Hope to see you guys in the Telegram group. We'll see you guys on the next episode.